So we're here. I'm Dave Pascoe, one of the lead practitioners from Restorative Solutions, and my colleague Laurie Elwell, another lead practitioner, is with us. And we're with Sarah and Angela, who have been through this process with our service. So the incident that took place was it's nearly 2 years?
It's 3 years in March.
Yeah, 3 years in March. Unfortunately, there was a road collision involving two drivers that were responsible, that resulted in the loss of both your sons' lives, George and Mason. And obviously, the court process had started. You'd had to go through all that process. If I said so, you received a leaflet about restorative justice. What did that trigger for you then?
Like you say, I just accidentally looked at it. It was just, so I began to read it. Initially, I thought I was going to have to trick you guys into arranging a meeting. So I contacted the police to say that I would like to start this process. And yourself, Dave, you contacted me, and straight away you just explained the whole ins and outs of RJ. And at the end of the conversation, I was left gobsmacked that I wasn't going to have to be devious and lie. You were kind of like our angel in disguise that was coming to give us a voice, really. To be able to go and meet the two people that were responsible for the deaths of our boys. We were going to be given an opportunity to tell them what they'd done to us, you know, how it had affected us, our family, our lives, their friends. Yeah, you gave us a voice.
That evening when I came to visit you, you mentioned that Angela obviously had lost Mason in the same incident, and that she might be interested as well. So I left you my details and said, would you make contact with Angela? And if she's interested, would she give me a call? So Angela, obviously Sarah did give you my details. And how did you feel about the process?
I think my initial thought was, how does this benefit them? And then after speaking to, well, I phoned you, didn't I? Straight away, pretty much. And I think then once you made it clear that this wasn't about them, it was about us. It was to give us a voice. That totally changed everything about what I felt about it. This is our chance. It's, as I say, to go through the court case and not have a voice. This was going to be our opportunity to say how we felt.
When you think of the preparation that we did prior to that, was that enough for you guys, that we covered every eventuality?
Yeah, I would say so, because you came. There was no time limit set on you. We prepped our own questions, and you helped us prepare for what if they come back with that. You know, how are you going to react? Because they weren't going to obviously give us the answers that we probably wanted.
Walked in there. Obviously, travelling up, we all four of us went together in my car. The reason for that is that we always worry that if you have to make that travel arrangements yourself, and then you come out with all these emotions and feelings, are you going to be able to focus on getting from A to B safely? Whereas we worry about that. So you've just got to worry about your own emotions and feelings. How was that? If I can ask you, Angela, walking into a prison for the very first time, how did that impact upon you?
Yeah, it's not something I'd ever thought I would do. It's I wouldn't say scary, but yeah, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Going into a prison, but all that gets put aside anyway because of the result we're wanting. We're there for a reason, and it was worth going. But because you travelled with us, well, taken us, and I mean, I thought we were both quite calm actually, considering. But that helped because you took us.
Sarah, can I ask you the same question? That first steps into the prison environment, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I don't think I was prepared for the feelings I probably felt, because like you said initially, we said, no, we don't want to go, we don't want a recce, we'll just go straight in. But I think we both, as we went in, we were like, oh my God. I think it's probably more so that, oh my God, we're actually here. You know, we're doing it. We've waited this long. We're actually, you know, he took us into that room, and we knew he was in the next door room.
Then obviously we started the process, and the offender came in, and there was a moment, Sarah, where you just sort of, I think it just overwhelmed you a little bit with everything that was going on, wasn't it? And you just needed to take.
Yeah, I mean, you did your introductory speech, and then you said over to you, Sarah, and it was all just for that couple of seconds. It was like, oh my God, I've forgotten what to say. I mean, we had our sheets in front of us that you'd printed off to sort of give us a backup, but just like you said, for a couple of seconds, it was like just emotion took over me just for a while.
Yeah, but obviously we spoke to the offender, and we asked him to give his account of the incident, tell us what happened before, through the process, you know, right up to going into court. But once you started your questions and you worked together, how did you feel there, Angela?
Yeah, it was quite difficult, I suppose, at first, because he'd run through what had happened that night, and obviously we knew that wasn't entirely true. So then I got the chance to correct him, which felt good, empowering, because, you know, these lies that he told from the start, he was actually going to be pulled on them from us, and that was good to be able to do that and say, no, you know, this isn't how it happened, you know how it happened.
So once partway through the process, I know that you both brought photographs of your boys, George and Mason, and you put them on the small table that was in front of the offender. And it's something, I think it was you, Angela, that said, let's just remember why we're here. Do you remember saying that? Yeah. I
wanted them to remember who we were talking to. I didn't want our boys to be faceless. I wanted them to see exactly who we were talking about. Because it's okay talking about somebody if you don't see them, and because our boys obviously couldn't be there with us, the next best thing was a photograph so that they could see exactly what they had taken away from us and our families.
I think that had a really big impact on the meeting as well, them photographs being there.
Yeah, I did see them keep looking down and then looking at, they either had to look at us or look at the photographs. So there was no hiding for them.
We then left the prison and we came out and we said we've been in there, and it was quite a period of time because it was going dark when we came out, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we got in the car and then we travelled home. How did you feel once you came out of that meeting?
I would say I felt absolutely drained. I felt exhausted, and I now know why you said, let me drive you. Because you think, I'm just sat having a meeting, but oh my, I did feel absolutely drained.
Angela, how about yourself?
Exactly the same. Believe, you know, you just sat there. I can't even remember how long we were there for. I know it was quite a while, but yeah, it is so exhausting. Not while you're in there, it's when you come out. I think it's because you've been able to get all that emotion out, and yeah, it's just total draining.
Then obviously we came away from that one, and then it was a case we're now in preparation for meeting the second offender. So we almost went through the planning process again in the build-up, and obviously it's a different category of prison, so a different format going in. When we did that planning again, did you feel prepared to go into the next meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going into the prison though, that was an eye-opener, because obviously the first one was an open prison. This was totally different. So that was an eye-opener, and it was sort of a bit nervy, all the security and everything. But as for being prepared, yeah, you helped us a lot.
How about you on the second intervention that we did?
I would say I was raring to go on that one, because we'd done the first one, knew what to expect, and I mean, I think I came away from the first one and I'd almost got the second one's questions wrote that night, because I was so, let's get at this one. But a bit like Angela, it was a completely different prison, wasn't it? No, I was just felt when he walked in, I didn't have that emotion that I had with the first time, because I knew what to expect, and I was ready.
How did you feel after that one? Because that was the final one, wasn't it?
I don't know, because you asked us that question in the car, and my truthful answer was, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It's a double-edged sword, because I felt great that I'd been my boy's voice, but I kind of expected to feel elated, but because nothing had changed, but I'd been that voice, and I was glad I'd done it. But I think I was disappointed that I hadn't. I don't know what I expected, Dave. I don't know whether I expected this heavy weight of grief to be lifted because I've done this this procedure. I don't know. I just felt, yes, I'm glad I've done it, but I wasn't sure how. I think I just felt overwhelmed, and it wasn't till later that I probably felt the benefits of this.
Angela, we had a conversation when I dropped you off at home, and I said, "How are you?" And you said, "Well, I'm glad I've done it. Is it going to change my life?" No. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah.
What can you remember? What else you said?
I know I did say that. Will it change my life? No, it hasn't changed my life. The outcome's still the same. I haven't got my son back, but am I glad I did it? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I still feel the same now. But what we did achieve is being a voice for our boys and a voice for ourselves, and it is empowering to be able to do that. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
And obviously, jumping on now, we're some months ahead of having done both those interventions. How do you feel now?
It only hits you months later, because actually, when we did it, we were very early on in our grief journey, really. So I think we expected, like I said earlier, we expected this weight to be lifted. Maybe something lifted, but it's like months later now. I just think, yeah, I got to tell you what you've done to me. Even when we were in the court, the barrister would stand up and say, "We have a statement from George's mum and Mason's mum," and he would read it out. But it didn't have the same feeling, the same emotion with it that we can actually physically deliver to the offender. They could see the pain, the hurt. I mean, even in the court, we huddled into a space, and they don't even have to look at us in a court. They're just either head down or face facing the judge. So to actually, they had to sit in front of us, and they couldn't give us back, obviously, what they took from us, but they saw, and we were, like I said, and we were able to tell them what I found, to use Angela's words, empowering, was to let them know that we knew what they were telling us was a complete pack of lies. We were able to say that didn't happen. We know that didn't happen. And watching them squirm as we fired our questions at them. It was hard to sit there and do it, but at least they know how we feel and what they did to us, and they saw it in our faces, in our emotions that we delivered to them.
If I can come to Angela first, what advice would you give to anyone that's offered this service, irrespective of the circumstances, if they've been harmed by some crime or other incidents?
Do it. Just, yeah. It's the feeling that it gives you to sort of take control. I think when you're the victim of any crime, and I don't like to see us as the victims, because I see it was our sons that were victims, but yeah, we were victims of what they did, and so our families. The chances are one of them we could maybe see when we're out. But even then, if we tried to say anything, it wouldn't go through. They would walk away or get abusive, and to do this in a controlled environment and give us that power, there's no words to describe it. And we are so grateful that we were able to do this, and it does need promoting more, because as I say, it was only by chance that we actually realised that this process was available to us.
Sarah, if I ask you the same question, if you to offer some advice to someone about this process, what would you say?
Yeah, reiterate what Angela says. Do it, because it's your chance to tell them, what you did to them, what they did to you, how it's made you feel. And what I didn't say earlier was, when I went in, there was an element of me that was absolutely petrified, not with the process, but I was petrified that these boys were men, were going to sit there and they were going to make me feel sorry for them, and I would be ending up forgiving them. But actually this process, we got to see actually their personalities, and were they sorry for their crime? Sadly, these two weren't. It was still about them. But I'm glad I saw that side of it, because I know, and like I told both of them, I will never forgive them. And they have got to live with that for the rest of their lives. But I wanted them to know that. But definitely, because it gives you a voice. And yeah, definitely recommend.